On October 29th, 2021, my Bible study was having a small little Halloween party. We ate snacks, carved some pumpkins, and generally had an okay time. I had made some eggnog pie for the evening and had a little bit left over afterwards. So I decided to call my mom and see if she'd want any.
Hello.
Hello, Mother.
What is that?
Do you want eggnog and snacks?
Sure.
Okay. Are you tired or in bed already?
No, I'm at St. El's Hospital.
Why?
His grandpa fell and fractured his neck, so they had to life-flight him here.
Oh no.
I don't know. I was getting ready to text all you guys that my phone's dying.
Okay.
My battery's almost out. But
Okay. Yeah, I can.
were you coming over?
I was gonna come over, but I don't have to. I'll come over. I'll do it later. Hey,
Okay.
I can text everyone if your phone dies. Or do you-
Okay. I mean, I told Jesse and Arian.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you, Mom. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye bye.
2 long, painful weeks later, on November 16th, my Grandpa Jim passed away at the age of 84. Later that week, I went up with my mom to help clean out his old place. It was strange to walk through this house, seeing old trinkets that my grandpa had found as valuable, but were now mere memories lost to time. It was sad to see so much just be forgotten. So, in an attempt to preserve some things, I thought I'd make this video to tell you a little bit about the man who was my grandpa. James Emerson Kelly was born on February 18th, 1937, the firstborn of Genevieve Myrtle Wolfe, a 23-year-old housewife, and Frederick Finch, a 29-year-old salesman at Fuller Paint and Glass. He was born in Spokane, Washington, and as far as I can tell, he grew up there. Then, sometime after high school, he served in the Navy. Then, sometime around 1964, he met my grandmother, Mary, in a dance hall. My mom, who was born the next year, may have even been named after one of the dance steps they learned while together. From there, he worked as a carpenter, always learning new things and describing himself as a lifetime perpetual student. I would finally meet him in 1992, the year I was born. He was an eccentric man. At one point, he was convinced that he was Jewish, so much so that he decided to change his Facebook language to Hebrew, even though he didn't read Hebrew. From what I understand, he had a hard time switching it back. Unfortunately, after some DNA testing, he found out that he wasn't. Ironically enough, I am. Life is just weird that way. Unfortunately, past that I can't really say too much. My grandpa didn't live in the area, so I saw him maybe once or twice a year when he visited in his RV. I remember really liking that RV as a kid. I don't know if it was because of the RV itself and the cool things that were in there, or more just the fact that the RV meant my grandpa was there. But even when my grandpa did visit in his RV, I was a kid. I didn't think to ask my grandpa his life story when I was 10 years old. I just liked that he was there. Yet even with just this little information I've been able to find out about him, his passing has hit me harder than other passings have. Granted, there's not a lot I've been through, only being able to count a handful off the top of my head, but I think I know why. This one is different. Though I may post a lot of cooking videos and other random nonsense on my channel, that's actually not my main thing. I work in the tech field and enjoy tinkering around with electronics to the point where I've nearly bricked my phone a few times. I have a collection of old video game consoles, not just because I like the games, but because I find the electronics behind it just really fascinating and really interesting. And if I have the ability to hack the console, I will, just for the heck of it, just because I find that kind of stuff fun, even if I don't end up playing on that console anymore. I enjoy it. Heck, I even tried to write my own Game Boy Advance game at one time, even though it didn't really get very far. And that's all thanks to Grandpa Jim. At a young age, I remember watching my grandpa work on the computer, helping my mom and dad with stuff, and I just found it fascinating. I even have memories of him giving me my first computer game, Toy Story Activity Center, even if it wasn't actually mine. It was ours, but I saw it as mine. But seeing him work on the computer and giving me a game to play on the computer really just made me fall in love with technology, even at that young of an age. I remember once he taught me how to use Control-Alt-Delete to close a software that wasn't working, And in first grade, I thought it was the coolest thing. And when someone else was on the computer, I remember telling them, if something works, press Control Alt Delete, then I can help you. I remember as a kid, having a watch, and whenever it would run out of batteries, I'd try to take it apart and put it back together, and I never got it back together, but I took apart a lot of watches. And my love for electronics and video games led me to eventually teaching myself how to program in junior high, about 8th grade or so. That led me to eventually pursuing a degree in electrical engineering, which I graduated with 8 years ago. Sure, I never really got to make my own game, but I have a lot of memories and experiences all because of him. Heck, I got to intern at NASA for a summer, and while that's a story in and of itself, that wouldn't have happened without him. And I don't think I ever got to tell him thank you. I never got to say goodbye to Grandpa before he passed away. COVID mixed with a lot of other things that were going on during that 2-week time period. I just didn't get to say goodbye. But on December 1st, 2021, my grandpa was cremated, and we got to go see him before he was cremated. It sounds morbid, going to see him before that happens, but it was honestly really nice. Even if technically he was already gone for 2 weeks at that point, it was nice to say goodbye. And as his ashes wait to be spread here in about a month at the time of the release of this video, I wanted to share a few more stories about my grandpa, but not from me, from my siblings. Just as a way to remember my grandpa. Okay, so what is your favorite memory of Grandpa?
My favorite memory of Grandpa was when I was a little boy and we were in his motorhome watching it's like a National Geographic movie or whatever, some National Geographic thing. And they're talking about the Great Tetons. And he goes, you know what Tetons means, right? And I go, no, what's Tetons mean? It's the funniest thing ever. And it's one memory that I think about all the time whenever I think of him.
So Taylor, what about you?
My favorite memory of Grandpa is when he was at our wedding, and I kept stepping on my wedding dress, and he came over and picked it up and danced with us.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, he did. We have a picture of it.
We have a picture? Oh,
Yeah,
you'll have to
I'll
send
have
me
to
the
give it to
picture.
you.
Yes, please. Send me the picture.
Yep. So, I think it was like Thanksgiving, and me and Luke were staying the night, and Grandpa Jim was staying the night too, and I didn't really know where he was at the time. I knew he was staying over, so he went in the guest room, and he was sleeping there, and I go in, because I didn't know he was staying in there, and I look over, and I didn't really know he was there, and it scared me, so I screamed, and I ran out the room, and then I was like, oh, whoops.
So what's a favorite memory of you of Grandpa?
My favorite memory with Grandpa, probably when Ian and I went up and stayed with him for the weekend, and he normally went to bed at like 6 at night, but he sat up with Ian and I around the fire outside until like 3 in the morning, just talking about the Navy and Filipino ladies that he met. And then he took us to the ice caves in Shoshone, and he didn't go down with us because he couldn't make it down the stairs, but he took us there and he showed us where the Shoshone Falls were, and we just spent the day hanging out with him doing stuff around there. And yeah, there were Jello shots because he always made Jello shots when he knew we were coming. So I think that's probably my favorite.
Is he in there actually? Because Mom didn't know much about his time in the Navy. I was wondering because he told you guys about it, right?
Ian said he was a hydraulics man. Ian said that it was in the 50s.
So okay, so probably soon after high school he went into the Navy then.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know how long he was in though. He went to a lot of foreign places like islands and stuff, and he apparently had a lot of fun. I think he liked the experience of it. He used to joke around with Atticus when Atticus was little. Like, he used to play around with him and stuff. We were at Jay and Stephanie's wedding, and whenever Grandpa was around, Ian was always with Grandpa because they were like buddies. And they were like, look at the person you love, and Ian looked at Grandpa. And Grandpa looked at Ian. And then Ian was like flirting with me from across the room at one point, and Grandpa was like, would you like me to introduce you?
Me and him were in the line at the bar, and then he was like, would you like to be introduced?
Do you remember Grandpa?
Yeah, I remember him.
One of my favorite memories of Grandpa Jim was, I believe it was on my birthday, he gave me an archaeological study Bible. And he said, I understand that you like studying the Bible, and I do too, and I thought you might appreciate this. And I don't remember many gifts that people give me, but I remember that one. That is a gift that really sticks out to me. And it showed that he cared and that he wanted to see me continue studying and continue learning and continue getting smarter. And that he really. Let me think. Think, Jesse, think. You'll cut this out, right? It showed that he didn't just care about me getting an education, but that he cared about me learning and being a lifelong learner. And that's something that I really appreciated about him, is that he was always a lifelong learner.
So that's it. That's my grandpa. He was a little weird, but which one of us isn't? So, farewell for now, Grandpa. I hope you enjoy your final resting place. And to anyone out there who's watching, go tell your grandparents you love them. Ask them their story, because you'll wish you had after they're gone. This has been Seth. This has been a thorn in my side. God bless.